Alright, what is going on, guys? I had mentioned a couple times that I'm probably going to be splitting my time between a new TLP and Quarm. My old guild is going back to a TLP, and so I want to hang out with them for up to a year. About up to a year, I may be splitting my time. My plans are to level up a character and then kind of like raid log it here, and then just continue playing Quarm, leveling characters, and doing the Quarm thing. Because I am most excited to have Lucklin and Plains of Power on Quarm. But this new TLP starts in Lucklin, and I'm not interested after Plains of Power. So that gives me about a year, maybe 14 months timeline. And things can go south before then, which cause it to end prematurely. So there is an expiration date on this server, whereas Quarm for me there is not, because it locks at pop, and that's what I'm looking for. Anyways, today is April 30th, and with April 30th comes the first round of name reservations. So you have to have a wild 200 days played on your character in order to reserve it on the next TLP. Now, I guess if you play every TLP, that's not that big of a deal. On one TLP I played, I have like 50 days played or something like that. So I get to reserve my name, if I want the name, on the third round every 2 weeks. So today is the first round. No, it's every week. Today is the first round. In 7 days from now will be the second round. 7 days from now, we'll go on. I think it explains it here. I kind of just looked at it real quick and decided, hey, why don't we read this off for anybody who's interested. If you're not interested in the TLPs, this isn't for you. So we got the name. It's going to be Fangbreaker. And so they did a Q&A, or frequently asked questions, a FAQ. So let's take a look. They answered some questions. There was a lot of questions. People were scared about casters. I know that's a big one. And they have an unlock schedule here. So what is Expanded Start? And again, I will put a link to this in the description, so you can just go read it yourself if you want. But you know, if you're driving or if you're doing something else, or if you just want somebody to read it to you, that's what this video is going to be. Expanded Start. What is Expanded Start? Expanded Start is a new rule set that combines lower than normal level caps with multiple unlocked expansions at launch. For Fangbreaker, we're launching with Ruins of Kunark, Scars of Elias, and Shadows of Lucklin, and unlocked and level locked to level 50. What is the unlock schedule? Here is the unlock schedule. For me personally, I'll just go over for me. But we start out in Lucklin and we start at level 50. It looks like 8 weeks later, we unlock at level 51. One level only, but what that does is unlock AA. So you can start grinding AA. Another on September 18th, which is like another, I don't know, 8 weeks, unlocks level 55, which will let you progress more with your guild. If you're having trouble, it's going to be extremely hard to be taken down like Lucklin raids, when everybody's level 50 and stuff like that. So continue on into November 13th, we'll unlock level 60. Then on February 5th, Plains of Power will unlock, as well as Legacy of Acacia. They usually unlock an hour apart on TLPs. And then on April 30th, Lost Dungeons of Norath will come out. And typically, if I do play a TLP, which is very rare, I don't play many TLPs, but when I do, this is where I stop playing and I go back to playing P99 or now Quarm. I haven't played a TLP since Quarm. So this is my expiration date, but it could be well before then. So on and so forth with the expansions. I believe it's like every 2 to 3 months, depending on the expansion. So let's get into some more Q&A stuff. What is the experience rate of the server? The experience rate is the same as standard progression servers, which will receive a bump to experience when Gates of Discord opens. But many zones will periodically receive experience bonuses due to the Resource Hunter rule set. We'll go over that later, I'm sure. What are the level requirements for gear? As with previously introduced level locked rule set, the required level to equip an item on an expanded server start will instead function as a recommended level. If an item has both required and recommended levels, it will use the highest as the recommended level. However, the required level to activate spells on items will not be lower than on standard progression servers. Additionally, this feature will only be active until the expanded start period ends at the unlock of Planes of Power on Fangbreaker. What this is saying is, I think starting in Luckland, it might have been Planes of Power, sorry. But starting, I think in Luckland, they started doing recommended levels on your gear. So it recommends you be level, say, 50, and if you're wearing it under level 50, it acts like an heirloom in World of Warcraft, if you know what that is, where you can wear it, but the stats are nerfed, and as you level, it unlocks a few more stats at a time until you get to the recommended level in which you unlocked the item's full power. So what they're saying here is that items, even so you're level 50, we're locked at level 50. If you can kill, say, Luckland raid bosses that drop gear, that have a level requirement of 55, previously we were thinking, well, shoot, what are you going to do? Throw it in the bank and wait until level 55 unlocks. Well, here they're letting us know that you could actually wear it. It'll just be a little bit nerfed until you reach level 55. I'm sure it'll still be better than whatever you're wearing. So that's great to know. That was a huge question people had. Will spells be able to land on anything if we're multiple levels behind? Another huge one. Nobody was thinking of making spellcasters. They were going to be full melee raids because spellcasters get resisted on, anything with these bosses that are several levels higher than you. It's just a resist fest. Answer is yes. During the expanded start period, the spell resist system previously introduced for the level locked rule set will be active. Even though somebody had a screenshot of a mod saying no, they're saying yes, probably due to feedback. While active, NPCs who are hit by a PC spell on the server will not have a resist bonus based on the level differences as they do on normal progression servers or standard. That's huge. That was the biggest worry about the entire server. Well, there's two. There's that, and then there's people are going mad because they're going to be level locked for so long. But I think this is going to relieve a lot of people. People were calling the server dead on arrival because of that, plus the length of the server unlock. But we'll see what the new vibe is out there. Will stuns, mesmerization, charm, and similarly level limited spells be uncapped? Will stuns, mesmerization, charm, and similarly leveled limited spells be uncapped? No, crowd control spell effects will still be level limited like normal. So you can't be OP and charm and mez and all that like super high level mobs. Are there adjustments to zone requirements? No, zone requirements will not be adjusted. Are there adjustments to quest level requirements including epics? No, old quests, tasks, and missions are not adjusted. Will the server increase the amount of loot coming into the world? No, all non-scripted, non-global loot drops will not be adjusted, but the scripted keys given in later expansions will use the standard progression server acceleration, and many zones will periodically receive loot bonuses due to the Resource Hunter rule set. They keep mentioning the Resource Hunter rule set. We probably all know what that is by now, but you can see it down here that we're going to go over it in a minute. Are there changes to how or at what level alternate abilities are acquired? No, alternate abilities will be acquired as normal, that's level 51, but many zones will periodically receive AA experience bonuses due to the Resource Hunter rule set. We'll go over that in a minute. Will Plane of Fear be in the Shadows of Luckland state at launch? No, Plane of Fear will be held in its original state until the Planes of Power unlocks. That's interesting. Will the Glooming Deep tutorial be available at launch? God, no. No, the Mines of Glooming Deep won't be accessible until Gates of Discord unlocks. That's when I'm long gone. Even though you could skip it. Will keying and flagging still be required? Yes. Great. But they've made it much easier. Like, you know, there's certain mobs that like shards drop off of for like VT or something like that. They've expanded that to where like nearly everything drops those things in that zone or what have you. It's nothing like it was 5 years ago. Will mitigation of the mighty be in effect? Yes, that is where pets don't really do any damage if you have like, when you're in a raid and, you know, there's a bunch of pets. Will the challenger's perk that prevents you from losing levels work on this server? Yes, there are currently no plans to disable this perk on expand to start servers. That's, you know, that's one of the perks. The perks are a pay to win type of thing that really is inconsequential. Will out of combat regen be active on the server? Yes. You can increase regen on TLPs when you are out of combat, similar to WoW if you are not familiar with TLPs. So the Resource Hunter. What is the concept behind the Resource Hunter feature? The concept behind this rule set is to expand the experience of hot zones to a new daily method. We hope that it will not only bring the thrill of finding new special areas, but also bring the community together in the hunt. The Resource Hunter rule set of random daily bonuses should not only encourage playing in a variety of zones and exploring more of Norath, but also make it more rewarding to roam in different zones than you might normally on a TLP. Basically, there's something called the leveling highway. This exists on P99 and Quarm or EMU servers as well, but it's like less prevalent on those servers. On TLPs, the leveling highway it's pretty much the same. Everybody knows, like everybody goes to Unrest, everybody goes to Guk, so on and so forth. And it'll be different on this server because this unlocks with Luckland. I think a ton of people are going to be in like Polyable Caverns and stuff like that. But this is just, you know, encouraging people to go to less frequented zones, and we'll just keep going here. That's the idea of that. Because there is going to be bonuses, which I'm surprised they haven't mentioned the bonuses yet, which many of us know what they are. How many zones will have a bonus at one time, and how are those zones chosen? In general, each expansion's eligible zones within a similar level range will be grouped together. Up to 3 zones from each group will be assigned a random bonus from a predefined set of options. When the server launches, dozens of zones will have bonuses, and over time, as more expansions unlock, that number will increase. Now you might think that these zones are going to become overpopulated. Well, that's kind of true. That's already going to happen. Zones are just overpopulated on TLPs anyways, but they have what's called pick zones, where there's like parallel universes of each zone, and you can jump around from pick to pick to try to find open camps. Back on the last TLP that I played on, which was Eriadune, Unrest, I remember one time, like on like the second day of the server, Unrest had like 30 picks. It was insane. There was 30 versions of Unrest. Pretty wild. Since they haven't mentioned it yet, I'm just going to mention it. Like the bonuses are, they could be increased AA experience, or increased regular experience, or increased respawn rate, or increased rare spawn rate, or increased or decrease, or increased rep gain or rep loss, increased coin drop or item drops, stuff like that. Those are the various bonuses that they could be. It's not going to have all of those. It's to my understanding that they'll have one of those, but the zones that they pick, like this zone will have that one, that zone will have this one, and then it rotates every night at midnight. All right, let's keep going. How often, oh, here it is. Spoiler alert. How often and when will the bonus randomization take place? The bonus randomization will take place daily at midnight Pacific time. What's that? Will the zones rotate on a set schedule or be random? The selection of which zones have a bonus is random, not on a rotating schedule. A zone could have bonuses 2 days in a row, or it could go an extended time without receiving one. True random. How will I know the bonus randomization has taken place? When bonuses are randomized, everyone online will receive a chat and on-screen message confirming that it has occurred. Will all zones be eligible for having bonuses applied? No, some zones will be excluded because they are non-combat, such as the Nexus or the Plane of Knowledge, or other zones may be excluded for other reasons, but in general, most zones will be eligible. Will bonuses remain the same on days when the patch occurs in the middle of the day? That's a good question. No, all bonuses will be randomized again after the patch happens and will be waiting for you once servers unlock. Will bonuses remain the same if a zone crashes? That's a good question too. Yes. Once the zone comes back up, it will have the same bonus applied. What about the server crashing? That'll probably happen. How will I know what zone has a bonus applied? Didn't we just answer that? A short time after entering... Oh, okay. The short time after entering the zone with a bonus, you'll receive a chat on-screen message hinting at which bonus type is active. The amount of bonus will not be hinted at. Oh, there's varying amounts. So just because it has bonus XP doesn't mean it's 50% every time or something. It could be 10% today, 30% tomorrow or something. Will pick zones get a bonus if the base zone has one? I mean, come on. Yes, pick zones will receive the same bonus as the base zone. This will affect those that are already active before bonuses are randomized and those that spawn afterwards. This will affect those that are already active before bonuses and randomize at those... Oh, okay. The picks that spawn. Got it. Basically, how picks work is, say there's only one pick of a zone or two picks of a zone. When they fill up, each zone has its own threshold. When a pick or multiple picks get to the threshold and beyond, it spawns a new pick for people to go to. So you can actually artificially spawn picks by like telling your guild, hey, everybody go to this zone because we need to spawn another pick so we can try to like get this raid mob for our guild, stuff like that. Will dynamic zones such as those spawned for a raid or mission get a bonus if the base zone has one? No, dynamic zones will not receive bonuses. That's different. That's when basically such as using an agent of change or something to get a zone that only your guild can go into and nobody else. So it's, you know, a zone just for your guild. That makes sense. And also in those zones, typically you don't have like you don't have trash respawn for like a certain amount of time, whereas normal zones, you know, obviously trash respawns and stuff like that. Will zones that become accessible on days that expansions unlock have bonuses? Yes, new zones will have bonuses waiting for you to find when the expansion unlocks. What bonuses will be eligible for being applied to a zone? This should have been the first one, but okay. Possible bonuses include increased experience, AA experience, loot, coin drops, rare NPC spawns, reduced NPC spawn times, and more. I think we covered all of those, but there's and more. I wonder what those will be. I think they said that last time as well. How large will the bonuses be? In general, the bonuses will be significant, often comparable to holiday bonuses, and in some cases even larger. However, probably on holidays. However, the size of the bonuses is random and can vary from zone to zone and bonus type to bonus type. Some zones have larger bonus possible than others, and some bonus types have a larger amount possible than others. Makes sense? Will all zones be eligible for all bonuses? No. The bonuses are curated for each set of zones that it can apply to. For example, zones that are level 51 can't get experience. Zones that are level 51 can't get experience in. I feel like something's missing there. Won't get an AA experience bonus. Are all bonuses equally likely to be used? No, some sets of bonuses will be more likely to use certain bonus types than others. Some sets of zones, yeah. Well, I mean, if one has a bunch of rare spawns in it, then naturally, you know, obviously people are going to use that one when it's the rare spawn. Or I guess, will it have a higher spawn rate for that bonus? Is that what they mean? Will the bonuses stack with holiday bonuses? Yes! Oh my god. When there's like a zone that's already like a really high Zem zone, and it's a holiday and it procs the XP bonus, people are going to be packing. I can't wait to see like a zone that has like 100 picks because it's a perfect storm. That'll be wild. Will the experiences bonuses stack with other experience bonuses such as those from legacy character system or potions? Yes, I mean, it better. The legacy characters is like a perk of the, is a rule set of the server. So if it was a no, that would be really weird. But the potions, there you go. Will the feature be testable before Fangbreaker launches? Yes, the feature will be enabled on the test server temporarily prior to Fangbreaker's launch. Currently, we are targeting about 2 weeks before server launch. This date is subject to change. Legacy characters. What are legacy characters? Legacy characters allow your other characters or personas on the same account, on the same server, to receive a semi-permanent experience bonus when players reach maximum level for the current era. With a character or alternate persona, their account receives an experience bonus for all characters and alternate personas on that server. The server's not going to open with personas. I think they get added like later on. This is probably past my time. But basically, you max out your first character and your alts all have 10% bonuses. You max out a second character. It's going to say right here, an example, when a player has one max level character, their account receives a 10% bonus XP buff. When a player has 2 max level characters, the buff stacks. You get to 20% XP. This bonus caps at 100%, so you can only have 10. Imagine having 10 max characters. When the server level cap increases, players will lose the buff, and you have to start over. So you got to get, when it goes from 50 to 51, you got to get those guys back to 51 to start stacking that bonus again. Will the legacy character experience buffs only work on level experience, or will it also work on AA, evolving items, and mercenary experience? The bonus applies to AA, quest kill, quests, kill, and mercenary AA experience. Interesting. I didn't think it would. Especially the quests, that's pretty wild. Okay. I mean, I think all quest XP is like pretty freaking nerfed on these anyways. With the focus on alts on the same account, will there be any changes to the Agent of Change account-wide lockouts? Account-wide lockouts are treated as character-specific lockouts on the server with legacy characters activated. All right. Are there any other changes for legacy characters that we should know about? All no-drop items are not free trade no-drop. All no-drop items that are not free trade no-drop are treated as heirloom items on the servers with legacy characters activated. This does not affect items that are already heirloom. They will stay heirloom. So basically, if you make a clothy, say I make a necromancer, I level up, I start raiding, I gear out my necromancer, and then I'm like, you know what? I'm going to level a wizard alt. You level the wizard alt, and then you're like, I actually want this wizard alt to be my main. You can funnel all your gear through the shared bank. All your raid gear that's no drop, you could funnel it through the bank, grab it on your wizard, and twink out your wizard with raid gear. But raid gear, at some point, certain expansions typically have a level requirement. As we read earlier, which was a concern, as we read earlier, there are no level requirements, but instead recommendations. So you'll still be able to wear the gear. It's just going to be highly nerfed, but as you level, it will become less and less nerfed, just like heirlooms, which is the word they're using in World of Warcraft. If you ever have used heirlooms in World of Warcraft, it is the same idea. Encounter locking. What is encounter locking? What are the goals for encounter locking? The encounter locking feature will allow the first player who engages an NPC the ability to prevent others from interfering with the fight. A primary goal with adding this feature is to mitigate issues we've seen regarding kill stealing and training in the early TLP experience before content becomes more instance-based as the expansions unlock. They did this on, what was it, like Yellowknack? Was it Yellowknack? Maybe not Yellowknack. I don't know. They did this before. People were shitting on it before it came out. Then it came out. There was a bunch of bugs. They fixed it up. When all the dust settled, I think the majority of people liked it. It takes away DPS races, so if you're a sweat, you probably don't like it. How is the lock applied? The lock is applied to the first player who gets added to the NPC's hate list. This could be via player attacking the NPC directly or the NPC attacking the player. Interesting that if the NPC attacks you, it locks it on you. Inadvertent. How is the lock removed? The lock is removed a short time after the NPC leaves combat. If someone on the lock list attacks the NPC within the period of time before it unlocks, the countdown will be reset and the NPC will remain locked. Interesting. Can members be added mid-fight to the group or raid? Yes. Okay, so you can invite somebody to the group and add them to the list or raid. The lock is owned by the individual player. The group or raid that they currently belong to is the one that owns the lock. Players who are currently in the same group or raid as the player will be able to attack the locked NPC, and those who were outside of the group or raid will not be able to. Will this prevent assisting/helping other players? No, if a player would like aid from someone outside of their group, raid, they can target the NPC and use /yell. This will semi-unlock the NPC and allow anyone to attack it. Once semi-unlocked using /yell, the NPC cannot be locked again until it leaves combat. So it's permanent, well, semi-permanent. And the original lock is removed. Rare or high difficulty NPCs can only be unlocked this way by the group or raid leader. Will there be any changes for how loot or experience is awarded? No, loot and experience will be awarded to the player, group, or raid that does the most damage to the NPC. Will there be any changes with how loot or experience is awarded? No. Loot and experience will be awarded to the player, group, or raid that does the most damage to the NPC. But if it's locked... Oh, okay. This is only if you unlock it. So if you yell for help and a second raid is helping your raid, or a second group is helping your group, whichever of the two groups does the most damage gets the loot. I was gonna say, it's locked. Why? Nobody else can do anything, but this is if you unlock it, I guess. If a player dies while pulling an NPC, can it be locked by someone else immediately, or does it need to return back to its spawn point? If an NPC no longer has anyone on its hate list and leaves combat, it will unlock in a short time, whether it is at its spawn point or not. Once it is no longer locked, it can be then locked by anyone, even if the NPC has not reached its spawn point. How will I know if an NPC is locked to me or someone else? Once an NPC is locked, its name will show in green if you can attack it, or gray if you cannot. Similar to WoW. These colors will be player editable if the default colors are desired. Well, there you go. Will the encounter lock apply to all NPCs, or will there be exceptions? There will be exceptions, and some NPCs will be excluded from the encounter locking feature due to them requiring cooperation amongst different people or being part of events that would not be completable if the NPCs were locked to separate people. Can a player lock an NPC indefinitely? No, NPCs will semi-unlock if they have been locked to someone for an extended period of time. What will happen if an event with multiple NPCs is engaged by more than one group, e.g. Wrath Council? This will depend on the event. For example, the Wrath Council, the event is handled by NPCs that cannot be aggroed and do not care who killed each NPC in the event. Well, that's true. Just that the NPCs died, therefore the event will continue as if two groups with locks engaged the Wrath Council. Makes sense, it's an event. It's whoever started the event. If an NPC is encounter locked and casts AoE spells, will they land on players outside of the group? Yes, okay, so beware. What will prevent players from instantly encounter locking an NPC the moment it spawns? When an NPC spawns, it will have a short random duration lock during which time it cannot be attacked. I wonder how long that is. That seems a little disruptive, but... If a healer leaves or is outside of a group, are they free from the risk of an encounter-locked NPC attacking them? No, someone leaving the group after having hate on the NPC will retain that hate. Someone outside of the group can still accrue hate by casting beneficial spells on someone on the NPC's hate list. This is where an instant cast clicky, what will prevent players from instantly encounter-locking NPCs. Like that wizard rod instant cast that you pull stuff with. Stuff like that will be super powerful because you can, like, you know, as soon as it spawns, you're just spamming that to try to be the first person to hit it once it unlocks. Will there be a limit to the number of NPCs a player can have encounter locked at one time? No. Bards can't kite on TLPs, by the way. They don't do damage while moving with their AoEs. Will faction rewards work differently with encounter locked NPCs? There are no changes on how faction is awarded with the encounter locked system. Those who do damage or have enough hate on the NPC will continue to receive faction rewards when an NPC is killed. So you can't go up to a group and just farm faction by tapping them, hitting them once. How will crowd control abilities such as Mesmerize and Memblur affect NPC's encountered lock status? A mesmerized NPC is still considered to be in combat and will remain locked. An NPC that is memblered and no longer in combat will start to count down its unlock timer and then unlock if it does not enter combat before the timer is up. True box. What is true box? A true box means that only one account may be played from a computer at a time while connected to the same world server. You may play other accounts connected to the same server if you have a different computer for each account. So you need a 2-box, as it was. Will Fangbreaker have true box? The server starts with a restricted true box. Only 2 computers may be run by one person at a time while connected to Fangbreaker. Boxing any more than 2 accounts at the same time will result in actions taken against your account. Unless you're a bot or farmer, then they will do nothing. When will TrueBox end? TrueBox is removed when the expanded start period ends. On Fangbreaker, expanded start ends when Planes of Power is unlocked. Other. What are Agents of Change? We went over that. They opened up the personal pick zone for your guild. What are pick zones? We also went over that. So there you have it. That was long as hell. I thought that was going to take like 10 minutes, and it took 30 minutes. Brutal. But that's what it's going to be. Fangbreaker, we got a name. We got some valuable questions answered. Casters are not useless. That's huge. Gear that has level requirements above level 50 are not going to be useless for months. That's huge. I think the only thing people are going to cry about are the unlocks. They're going to want quicker unlocks. Maybe 4 weeks for the 50. But they're going to want 51, 55, and 60 to be a lot faster than it is. I could care less, I guess. Because I'm not going to be playing there full time. I'm going to be playing on Quarm. So the longer it's locked, the more I'm playing on Quarm, I guess. Anyways, that'll be it. See you all in the next one.